Hi everyone, John Cottrell here of MBODY Yoga. This is Soft Flow. This is a 60-minute gentle yoga practice, and welcome. Glad you're here. So for our practice today, we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to be focusing on two shapes. Actually, they're very similar in shape. Triangles and pyramids is the name of this class. So we'll be doing triangle pose, kind of the classic version of it, and some other variations of that posture, and pyramid pose. And I'll also give some modifications of that particular posture. Both positions, both postures really be working the legs and hamstrings. So for our props, you might want to have, as always, just a blanket, something soft that you can sit and kneel on. So something soft. And then a couple of yoga blocks if you like to use blocks for your practice, or just something that's stackable like a couple of books. Maybe a big pillow or cushion. I have my yoga bolster here. Won't be using this primarily, in our class, but it's something nice to have at your Shavasana practice if you like some more added support. And then maybe an optional yoga strap. You don't have to have a yoga strap, but since we'll be doing some leg work, hamstring work, you might want to have a strap. Okay, so that's going to have that nearby. And we are ready to begin. So I invite you to find a comfortable seat, maybe sitting on your pillow or blanket. You can cross your legs or extend your legs if that feels a little bit more comfortable for you. And just sit up nice and tall. Maybe a few rolls of the shoulders, just to shake out any tension there. Just let your shoulders, arms, and hands just relax down by your side. And then just move into breath. You might take a slow, deep breath in, breathing in through your nose. You can exhale through your nose or through your mouth with a soft sigh. Do that several times, just to get reacquainted with your breath. Reminder that breath is the foundation of our practice. And then just settle into slow, steady breathing. You can do this with your eyes closed if you like, and begin your journey inward. You can also keep your eyes open, maybe just a soft gaze forward or downward. An opportunity to move inside of self, to be more aware and connected, to be more present. Good. Just continue with your slow, steady breathing. Listening to the sound of your breath. Noticing how your body is responding to your breath. For example, when you breathe in, you might feel the breath rising upward, filling up your lungs, and that nice expansiveness in the chest. And as you exhale, draw navel inward towards your spine, just to feel the muscles of your stomach engage. And do that a few more times, just bringing more awareness to your body, being more present and connected. That nice long breath in, filling up your lungs, followed by your slow and controlled exhale, drawing navel inward, slightly upward, feeling that engagement in your belly. And do that a few more times on your own. Very nice. Take 2 more breaths. After our second breath, we'll add a simple movement. When you're ready, inhale and extend your arms out and up. Just reach into the air. Nice stretch, lengthening through your arms. Exhale, extend your arms out. And let them float back down by your side, completing that full round of breath. And repeat it. Inhale, reaching out. Good extension. Good energy in your hands and fingers. Reach for the ceiling. Then exhale, extend outward. And then back down by your side. Go ahead and continue to move and breathe at your own pace. You don't have to necessarily follow me or my instruction here. Just follow your breath and movement. And as you're moving and breathing, noticing the sensations in your body. Again, that nice energy in your arms, hands, and fingers as they extend, reaching high, then outward across the room. Noticing your shoulders, allowing your arms to move in this fashion. Maybe a lengthening through the sides of your body, down your spine. We're still noticing breath. As we inhale and float the arms up, breath is still rising to fill up your lungs. With your exhale, with arms reaching out and down, still draw belly in, a way to connect, as well as stabilize your body and feel strong while your body's in motion. Go ahead and finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more breaths, continuing to move and breathe at your own pace. And when you're complete, just let your arms come back down by your side and just come to stillness. Relax and notice your breath. From here, just go ahead and bring your hands behind you, just leaning back into your palms or even your fingertips here. With the arms back, you feel the shoulders naturally roll back. And you'll tip your chin up just a little bit, just to provide a little bit more space in your upper chest, even your neck. When we're ready, go ahead and inhale, press into the ground with your hands or fingertips. Feel the energy in your arms. Feel breath rising upward to fill up your lungs. Even more expansive in the chest, right across the collarbones. When you exhale, draw belly in, that nice engagement. And again, inhale, press into the ground for the energy in your arms, breath rising. Exhale, engage belly, and if you're able, squeeze shoulder blades together, engaging your upper back muscles. So even in this very simple, seated, mild back bend, we have lots of sensation going on. So be aware of those feelings within you. Go ahead and take 2 more breaths. And when you're complete, just lower your chin so you're looking directly forward. Walk your hands towards yourself so you're sitting up nice and tall. You can even just bring your hands back into your lap. Come back to stillness, relaxation after that energetic sensation in the body and that mild back bend. Let's take our forward fold. So if your legs are crossed, let's go ahead and uncross them. Here, you're just going to press the soles of your feet together. Knees will be bent and pointing out to the side. Moving into cobbler's pose or bound angle pose, which is another hip opener. And you're welcome to use blocks or pillows or your books here just to allow your legs to rest on an object so they can continue to relax. Just hold on to your ankles or shins with a nice full breath in. Just feel a nice lengthening of your spine. Grow tall. Then exhale, engage your center and start to hinge forward from the hips, leading with your heart, moving forward just a little bit, not too far. Pause. Take another breath in, full length of spine. Exhale, draw belly in to secure yourself, and then hinge forward a little bit more. So that's the progression of this posture. Nice full breath in, fill up your lungs, lengthening through the spine, engaging belly in a very gentle movement. That's all it is. So take your time and not really needing to go forward and down too deeply at all, just to a place where you have that natural sensation or stretch quality in your inner thighs. And you can stay just like that. You don't have to push or force yourself into this pose or go any deeper than where you are. Just find that comfortable space. Continue with deep breathing. You want to feel as if you could hold this for a long period of time. We won't, but you want to feel like you could. Go ahead and take 3 more breaths here. Very nice. And when you're complete, go ahead and just hinge your way back up until you're nice and tall. Pause here for a moment. Very nice. All right, let's come out of this pose. If you're using any props, let's just set them to the side. We're going to come to our hands and knees. So take your time as you maneuver yourself onto hands and knees. If you're using some padding, you can use your blanket or even a folded mat underneath you just to cushion your knees and even your wrists here as you come to all fours, like this. Ready for cat and cow, our nice flow. We'll inhale, look forward. Little arch in the back, it's a mild back bend. And exhale around the spine, pulling belly button up towards spine, chin towards chest. Again, inhale, we'll feel the pelvis tip back, that arched back feeling like a back bend, heart opens, look forward. Exhale, tuck tailbone underneath, feel belly button pull up towards spine, rounded back body, chin to chest. And just continue to flow. Go at your own pace. Again, these don't have to be too fast nor too deep. Just a very simple movement, a nice undulation of the spine. Feel the rocking or gentle movement of the pelvis. An opening of the chest in your your cow pose. That's when you're looking forward. Still engaging your belly here too, in cat, pulling belly button up towards spine with a curvature in the spine. Finish the breath that you're on. Take 2 more. When you're complete, certainly no rush. Just hold in stillness in a tabletop position. Find your breath. Take a deep breath. And if you happen to be using some padding, go ahead and crawl off of your blanket or unfold your mat. You can set your blanket to the side. You can do that at any time. Return to all fours here, ready for down dog. We'll set this up. We'll first step the hands forward so your hands are no longer underneath your shoulders. And when you step the hands forward, spread out your fingers pretty wide so you feel that stretch between each finger. Kind of lean or press into your palms so you flatten your palms, stretch open your hands. And again, with that pressure, you might feel energy and strength in your arms, upper body. Hold that sensation, tuck your toes. We'll do another set of cat and cow. So it's an inhale to look forward, slight arch and back. Exhale, round it out into cat pose. Hold cat, but then lift knees off the ground, lift hips up into the air, putting us into our downward facing dog, our inverted posture. Go ahead and adjust your feet, maybe your hands for a moment to settle into the pose. Keep a slight bend in the knees, hips high. So this is our first triangle position or triangle shape. Hips nice and high. Breathing deeply. Now look directly down or up at your hands and just step your feet forward. So your feet are flat on your mat underneath you. You might just step to the center of your mat here. You'll be in a deep forward fold, but not here long. We'll inhale, slide hands up to knees or thighs to extend your spine, long flat back. We're going to hold here. Hold here. Nice long flat back. Feet planted into the ground. Keep that bend in the knees. And you have this tabletop feeling in the body. Imagine that there's an energy moving through the top of your head, moving forward, and an energy moving through your tailbone towards the back of the room. Really feel this tabletop-like position, flat back, even an energetic sensation in your hamstrings with the knees bent, because when we get into pyramid pose, it'll be very similar to this. All right, ready to stand, shifting your weight back into your heels, bend your knees, let your hips come down like you're sitting into a low chair. Extend your arms out to the side, drive your heels into the floor to straighten your legs, grow tall, reach up into the air, then exhale, bring your arms down by your side. This puts us into mountain pose. We'll hold here for a moment. Again, just like we did at the beginning, you can maybe circle your shoulders if you like, wiggle your fingers, take a breath. Let's do our half salute. Again, we'll fold forward and come back up, taking our time, of course. Starting in mountain pose, ready to move. Inhale, let's float the arms up into the air. And exhale, folding forward with a good hinge of the hips. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Slowly come down. You don't have to touch your toes here. Maybe your hands land at your shins or ankles. We're going to inhale, slide hands back up to knees or thighs, extending spine. The exhale, though, we will fold back down to a natural forward fold or a place that just feels good for you. If you need to, just bend your knees more. If it feels okay, maybe hang heavily forward. We call this ragdoll. This may allow you to continue to shake out the shoulders, some movement in your head and neck to loosen in that area of the body, neck, shoulders, upper back. With this forward fold, we get some more lengthening down through the backs of the legs, hamstrings, even calves, and even down through the entire spine. Let's shift the weight back into the heels, bend your knees, feel like you're going to sit down, look forward. That should re-extend your spine. Extend your arms out to the side. Let's stand up, straighten the legs, reach up into the air to draw that strong straight line in the body. Exhale, arms back down by your side. We'll pause here. You can shake this out if you need to. Take a breath. All right, let's move into our variation of Warrior One. We start in mountain pose. We'll start with the slight bend in the knees, so soften the knees, keep that bend in your knees. Start shifting your weight into your right foot and really feel that strong connection into the ground with your right foot. You're going to lean forward just a tiny bit, just for counterbalance, so you can start tiptoeing or stepping the left foot back behind you, maybe balancing on your big toe or the balls of the foot, so you don't have to step back too far. And then we'll just pivot left heel to the floor and just plant the heel down. And that should center you right here. All right, so the right knee is slightly bent, knee and toes are pointing forward. The left leg straight with a slight bend in the knee, but the leg is turned out at an angle right there. Place your hands on your hips, push pelvis down as you grow tall through the torso, and then turn to face mostly forward here. Then we'll inhale, float the arms straight up into the air. Exhale, hold if you're able, but you're certainly welcome to bend elbows. If that's a little bit too much tension in your shoulders or neck, you can always bend elbows, coming down like a goalpost or a cactus. Won't be here too long. Keeping arms in the air, we'll just hinge forward or shift your weight forward, putting some pressure into this front foot. Feel the strength in that leg, so you can just step left foot up next to the other. Let's stand up nice and tall, reach for the sky, extended mountain pose, and exhale, bring your arms back down, returning to mountain pose. Shake that out if you need to. So that's our variation of Warrior One. It just means that we didn't put too much distance between the feet in our lunge. All right, same thing other side. Put a softness in the knees, shifting weight now into left foot, planted strongly into the ground. Lean forward just a little bit so you can pick up the right foot and just tiptoe it back, just step back until maybe you're balancing on your big toe or the balls of the foot. Again, not a lot of distance between the feet. Pivot right heel to the floor, letting the leg turn out naturally at an angle. Plant yourself right in your center. Should feel an even distribution of weight between both feet. Left knee and toes pointing forward, right leg turned out at an angle. Place hands on hips, push down so you can feel the torso and spine lift up, and then slightly turn forward so you're facing the same direction as your left foot. It's going to put a slight sensation in your right hip flexor. Now you may or may not feel something right there at this moment, but when we get to Warrior One second version, you might feel something there. Let's go ahead and inhale, extend the arms up into the air. Exhale to hold the arms straight or put a slight bend. I'm going to put a slight bend in the elbows. That just feels more efficient. I feel like I can hold this a little longer. No tension in my neck or shoulders. So just find that spot that feels just right. Again, maybe having that sensation or feeling like, oh, I can hold this for a little bit. All right, we are going to start shifting forward, putting weight and pressure into the left foot, that front foot, and then step right foot up to the top of the mat next to the other. Stand up tall, straighten your arms, and then bring arms back down by your side. And that completes that series. So that's our Warrior One variation. Let's go through a full sequence here. It'll take us to the next version of Warrior One. Mountain pose to begin. Inhale, extend arms straight up. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, and slowly fold forward, touching your shins, ankles, or toes. Inhale, slide hands up the legs to extend your spine flat like a table. This exhale, fold. Take your time until you can
reach the floor with the hands. Place the hands on the mat and just start walking both feet back to the back end of your mat until you're low like this in a high push-up position or plank pose. We'll breathe in. When you exhale, bend your knees a little, send your hips up into the air, downward facing dog. Again, just as we did before, adjust your hands, adjust your feet, settle in. Softness in the knees, lift your hips a little higher. You're just up on your toes, the heels will be lifted. Hands, though, pressing firmly into the ground with a little bit more pressure, perhaps pressed towards your index fingers and your thumbs. Strong arms. Here's our triangle shape, downward facing dog. We're going to continue. Let's inhale, extend right leg up, reaching back. Doesn't have to lift high, just long. When you exhale, bend your right knee, bring right knee in towards your chest, shifting your body weight forward until your shoulders are over your wrists, and then set the right foot down. We're going to modify by bringing left knee to the floor. This should allow us to pick up the right hand, reach back, and literally pick up your right foot and place it higher on your mat next to your right hand. Relift left knee, pivot or turn left heel to the floor. We're going to that warrior one with a wider stance, but you need to shift the weight back so there's more pressure in that back foot. Keep the right knee bent, rise to fingertips, starting to extend spine. Walk both hands up to your thigh. Your thigh, push into the thigh to help extend spine. You're going to be at an angle for a moment just to ensure you have a straight line through the spine. Left foot, press a little bit more firmly into the ground behind you. Take your arms out to the side and then up into the air. Reaching with an inhale, exhale, lunge a little deeper, facing forward as best as you can. It's the same setup. Right knee and toes are pointing forward. The left leg is turned at an angle. There's just more distance between the feet, and you might feel a little bit more of that stretch sensation in that left hip flexor. Warrior one. We're going to breathe in. We're going to exhale, turn your torso towards the left side of the room. Arms come down to parallel. Warrior two. Now the legs and feet probably didn't need to move too much. Just want to be sure your right knee and toes are still pointing forward for a nice alignment and maybe a nice stretch in this right inner thigh. Let's continue by reaching out over the right leg with the right arm here. Nice angled upper body. Then rotate your arms. Your right arm will reach downward towards the floor while your left hand reaches up into the air. Nice extension up and down, as if you're trying to reach the ground. Now you could go lower and literally touch the ground, but you don't need to for this class. But do reach in that direction. And then at the same time, left hand reaching for the ceiling. Breathe in. We're going to exhale and carefully turn your torso towards the floor. Bend slowly. Place palms on the ground. Rise up on your tiptoes behind you, so we're in a nice runner's lunge. Push firmly into the ground with your hands. So you can slide or step the right foot back. This is our return to plank. Bend your knees a little, send your hips into the air. Returning to our triangle shape, downward facing dog. We're going to take a quick pause here, bringing knees to the floor. Take the knees a little wider. We're going to sit back in child's pose, just to take some pressure off the hands for a moment. Just a quick rest. We're not going to be here too long. So child's pose, if you're able, is getting the hips to come down closer to the heels, arms extended out in front. To modify, you can lift your hips much higher, even bring elbows to the floor, and just some nice variations. One variation name is puppy pose. So wherever you are, just taking a couple breaths, just take this as a rest, an opportunity to return to your breathing, your centering, and full presence. 3 more breaths. After your third breath, move slowly, really slowly, and just come back up to hands and knees. Take your time. Since the knees went wide, let's bring the knees underneath you a little bit more, right underneath the hips. Tuck your toes. Step hands forward just a little bit like we did earlier. Returning to down dog. So first, let's do cat-cow. Inhale, look up for cow. Exhale into cat. Then lift knees and hips, downward facing dog. Adjust if you need to. Join me when you're ready. We're going to inhale, extend left leg up, reaching back energetically through your toes. Exhale, bend left knee. Bring left knee in towards chest. If you're able to step the left foot all the way to the top of the mat, do so, or just let it land. It might be at the center of your mat. Bring right knee to the ground. Go back, pick up the left foot, and bring it up a little higher. Always welcome to do that. Relift your right knee. Turn right heel to the floor. We're going to Warrior One. Putting that weight and pressure in that back foot. Rise up to fingertips, extending your spine. Your torso will be right over the thigh here. And then walk your way up to this right thigh, helping to extend spine even more. While you hold here, be aware of that back foot. More pressure into the ground. This is a balancing sensation. Extend arms out to the side, then up as you come perpendicular to the floor. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lunging a little bit more. And there we are, Warrior One. Second variation. Again, wider stance, perhaps. Right hip flexor, a little bit more of a stretch and lengthening sensation. Let's move on. Breathe in. Exhale, turn torso towards the right side of the room. Bring arms down to parallel. You'll be in Warrior Two. If you need to adjust the feet, please do so, but because of our setup earlier, we may not need to move them too much. Side angle, let's reach out over left leg to angle the upper half of the body. Rotate your arms, left arm reaching down, right arm reaching up. Stretch, reach, extend. That's actually the full name of this pose. Extended side angle pose. Because you want to feel all these nice extending qualities. Okay, here we go. Breathe in. Exhale, let's carefully turn towards the floor, bend. Place palms on the ground. Rise up onto tiptoes behind you. Everything nicely aligned here. Press more firmly into the floor with your hands. Slide left foot back to meet the other plank. Hold. Down dog. Bend the knees, hips into the sky. Slight adjustment of hands and feet. Triangle pose. Well, it's not the official triangle pose, but we're in a triangle shape. Let's bring knees to the floor. We're going to take a seat. Maybe sit back onto the heels briefly for hero. Slide off the heels onto the ground. Swing the legs around to the front. Sit in the center of your mat. We're going to lie down onto our back so we can move into our back bend series. Grab your blocks because you'll need your blocks for these. Okay. Lying down with your knees bent, feet flat on the ground. We'll just pause here for a moment. Another resting moment, just like we did in child's pose. Reconnect to breath. Noticing the feeling of the ground underneath you. All right, make sure you've got your blocks ready to go. We're going to take a nice full breath in, fill up your lungs. Exhale to give power to the body, pressing feet into the ground to lift your hips. Once they've lifted, slide your blocks underneath you so you can sit on your blocks. Adjust them as you need to. Now this is where you could use a big cushion or pillow perhaps, or stacked books, whatever you've got there. I'm just going to hold for a moment. Nice opening for the whole front side of the body. I love using the blocks for this posture as a way to support the lifted center of our bodies. A little less engagement in this pose with the blocks. If we weren't using the blocks, you would really feel the power of the body. Feet pressing to the floor, legs engage, your glutes. Even your whole upper body would be working a little bit more. But doing it this way is just as effective. Nice breath work, fill up your lungs. Opening front side. Let's take 2 more breaths. And then when you're ready, just lifting hips up away from the blocks, slide the blocks out from underneath you, and then gently come back down to the ground. Pause there. We'll hug knees into chest. Start to roll or rock forward and back. Nice deep breathing with a good exhale. Rock your way up to seated right here. Now you might want to scoot back a little bit. We're going to do another hamstring stretch
several here. First, we'll start with staff pose, which is kind of this L shape in the body. So your legs are straight. Flex your feet so the legs are energized here. We want to lengthen spine, and to assist that lengthening, place your hands on the floor by your hips, push into the ground and feel that lift in the torso. Maybe roll shoulders back, feeling the nice opening up through the chest. And just hold for a couple breaths. So this is our first hamstring stretch, because even though we're not doing much, just with the legs straight and sitting up tall, this is a nice hamstring stretch. We're going to add a little bit more to this in a moment. Take one more breath, and then you can soften. We are going to take a forward fold. I'm going to go ahead and use a strap for this. If you happen to be using a strap, you can join me with that. But again, you don't have to have a strap for this. I'm going to wrap the strap around the bottoms of my feet here and just hold on. If you don't have the strap, you can just, we're going to do a forward fold. You can just take the arms up and just hinge forward, okay? And just reaching out towards the feet, even if your hands land on your legs. Otherwise, you've got the strap. We're going to inhale. A little tug of the strap is actually going to help you to sit up nice and tall. Exhale, fold forward just by a little tug of the strap again. Heart kind of moving forward out towards your toes, or even think of going past your toes. And again, you don't have to go very far for this. Nice hinge. And there's the extension through the spine as well as through the hamstrings. I can already feel this. Now you certainly can bend your knees a whole lot more if you need to, okay? They don't have to be absolutely straight. And even your back can round a little bit or a lot as well. You choose. Wherever you are, just several deep breaths. We're going to do one more version of the straight-legged seated position. Let's take 3 more breaths in this forward fold. When you're ready, just rise back up. If your hands are free, maybe you'll extend your arms up into the air. And then exhale, bring the arms back down, and we'll relax all together. All right, we're done with the strap, so you can set the strap to the side. We're going to do one more pose. All we're going to do here, so right now the legs are straight and they're pretty close to each other here. We're just going to take them a little wider, just kind of making a little triangle shape with the legs. You can go as wide as you want, just to, it could be a kind of a short distance between the feet, or much wider if you want to. And to help stabilize, you might place the hands behind you like so. And maybe just press into the floor just to sit up nice and tall. Now you're welcome just to stay tall like this, okay, just like in staff pose, or if you want to, you can take a gentle forward fold. You might just take the hands a little bit closer towards yourself, like so, pressing into the ground to keep extension through the spine, but hinge forward just a little bit. I think that's as far as I will go with this. For me, it's not a deep stretch, but I feel this, and it's just fine. Thinking about maybe working at only 60%. Okay, but you'll also have to think, well, what's my 100%? You can always go there, like find your 100%, that deep, deep stretch, but then back it way up to what you might think is your 60%. And just to that place where you feel like, okay, I can hold this. I feel comfortable. I can hold this for a long period of time. It doesn't feel like your body is stressed. That's another indicator too. All right, how about 2 more breaths? Kind of in our little triangle-shaped, wide-legged, seated forward fold. And then we'll rise back up. We're going to come back to cobbler's pose just to get that stretch out of the hamstrings, bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet together. Again, we're not going to hold this very long. Just a couple of breaths, maybe just holding onto your shins or ankles. One more breath in and out. And then maneuver yourself to return to hands and knees. Maybe just swing the legs back behind you. Find your tabletop posture. We're just going to set this up again for down dog. So again, step your hands forward, spread out your fingers, press palms firmly into the mat, tuck your toes, take your cat-cow. Inhale, cow, arched back. Exhale, round, cat. Lift knees, lift hips, down dog.
Let's do another sequence of lunges. Inhale, extend right leg up. Just reach back. Exhale, bend right knee. Bring it in towards chest, shifting shoulders over wrist. Maybe stepping foot closer to the right wrist. Or do what we did earlier by picking up the foot. You're going to turn left heel to the floor, planted firmly. You'll shift the weight back so you get that firmness. Rise up to fingertips, extending spine, torso lengthened over this right thigh. Hands on thigh, lift, extending spine 45 degrees. Arms out to the side, rise up. Here's Warrior 1. Exhale, opening Warrior 2. Okay, we're going to take this now to the official triangle pose. So straighten your right leg here. We have a nice distance between the feet. Actually, you don't have to have too much distance between the feet. You're actually welcome to bring the feet a little closer together if you want to. So you feel more firm. But both legs are straight. Right leg straight, but the toes are pointing forward. Left leg straight, but at an angle. Arms out to the side. Reach out over the straight right leg. Just find that natural stop, and then rotate your arms. And here's our triangle pose. And if we had some string or some lines we could draw from the top of that triangle down to each point, our foundation there, we'd create a triangle shape. Nice hamstring stretch. This is going to turn into our pyramid pose. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Alrighty. To get into our pyramid pose, just kind of lift up a little bit. Actually, bring the arms down by your side and just standing nice and tall. Okay? Place hands on hips. Push pelvis down. Let's get that nice long torso. We're trying to make a little bit more space in the belt line as much as possible. And start to turn towards your right, towards the front leg, and just feel a natural stop. Now, when I stop, I'm angled, meaning I'm facing out at an angle. I'm not facing over my front foot, okay? But we're going to change that a little bit. Hands are still on hips. You're turning and found the natural stop. We're going to put some bend in the knees here because I'm going to reposition this back foot. I'm moving the left foot to the left side of my mat and then slightly forward. So less distance between the feet. Re-straighten the legs, hands on hips, and then continue to turn. Now for me, now I am directly facing forward right over that right leg. You're welcome to do that. Place hands on hips again. We want to make sure we maintain that lengthened spine. Inhale. Exhale, slowly start to fold out over the straight right leg. Pause wherever it feels natural to pause. Right here, for me, I'm not parallel to the ground completely, but that's okay. I feel this in the right hamstring. This is perfect. You certainly could go lower if it feels okay. But this feels just right for me. I don't need to go any lower than this. Hands can stay on hips, or you can even reach back. This is a little bit more in line with the posture. Reaching back with some energy in the arms. To come out of the pose, bend the right knee, put that lunge back into the arms. Let's reach forward with the arms and up into the air. I call this awkward warrior 1 because you may have really changed the stance here, but it might resemble the first version of warrior 1. Hinge forward, put weight into this front foot so you can step left foot forward, stand up tall, extended mountain, reach, exhale, arms down by your side. So it almost ends up in the same little sequence we did much earlier in our practice. Okay, we're in mountain pose. We need to flow to do the other side. Inhale, flow arms up. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, sit back into your imaginary chair, fold carefully and slowly, maybe touching the ground or maybe your shins. Inhale, lengthening through the spine, flat back. This is kind of resembling pyramid pose. Exhale, fold slowly, back down we go. Bending the knees and back so you bring your palms to the floor. Walk both feet back. Plank pose. Find the straight line. Inhale. Exhale, bend your knees. Lift hips into the air. Downward facing dog. We're ready for the other side. Now inhale, extend left leg up. Reach. Exhale, bend left knee, bring it in towards chest, shift upper body forward. If you can, bring left foot closer to left hand or use that other variation. Pivot right heel to the floor. Put weight into that back foot. Rise to fingertips to extend spine. Your torso will be out over the left thigh. Walk your hands up to your thigh, extending spine at 45 degrees. Plant right foot more firmly into the floor. Reach arms out and up into the air, Warrior 1. Let's open this to Warrior 2. Hold for a second to arrive in Warrior 2. We're setting it up for triangle, so we're straightening the left leg. If you feel like there's too much distance between the feet, you can start to shorten that distance so you just feel a bit more solid, okay? Straight legs. Remember, left leg is straight, toes pointing forward. Right leg straight, but the leg is turned out at an angle. Reach out over left thigh. Angled upper body. Rotate the arms, reaching down. My hand is kind of resting lightly on the thigh or inner thigh. Reaching up, forming our triangle shape. Nice deep breaths, lengthening through this front leg, hamstring lengthening. Couple more breaths here. We are going to be going through this sequence again, but I'm going to give you a variation of the pose, which may allow us to go a little deeper or lower in the posture. Okay, we're going to come back up, bring hands down by your side to relax your shoulders. Now place hands on hips. Push pelvis down, feel tall in your torso. Start to turn towards the front foot and just feel where you naturally stop. Mine is right here. All right, we're going to reposition the back leg. So let's just put a little softness in both knees. Step right foot to the right edge of your mat and maybe forward. Straighten the legs again. Hands still on hips. Push down, lift up, turn torso. And see if you're facing forward. If you still need to adjust the feet, do the foot adjustment again. Pushing down, lifting up. Inhale. When you exhale, fold forward out over this front straight leg. Find that natural stop, or when you feel like, oh, there's my hamstring, I can feel it. And just pause there, knowing that you don't have to go any further than that. Pyramid, we're actually more parallel to the floor. You can even go lower for the full expression of the pose, but you don't have to go there. But you could add the arms if you want by reaching back. Some deep breaths. To come out of the pose, we'll start by bending the left knee. A nice lunge. Reach forward with both arms. Reach up, rise up. Our awkward Warrior 1, or like that first version of Warrior 1. Hinge forward. Put some pressure and weight in the left foot so we can step right foot next to the other. Stand up nice and tall. Reach for the sky. Extended mountain. Exhale, arms come back down by your side. Excellent. Roll the shoulders, shake all of that out. Very nicely done. So there's our triangles and pyramids. We are going to do triangle pose again, okay? And we're just going to step into the pose. We're going to step into the pose. Okay, kind of like we did the first time of Warrior 1. And I'll show you how we can get into the pose a little deeper. I'm just adjusting my mat here. Okay, I'm going to start this way. Okay, facing this way, but we're just starting a mountain pose. So as we did earlier, start with the softness in the knees, bend the knees. Put weight into your right foot, pressure into the right foot. Lean forward a little bit, tiptoe the left foot back. Just as we did earlier. Land on your big toe or the balls of the foot, pivot left heel to the floor, ground. There we are. We're going to take both arms up into the air, and as you're reaching up, straighten the legs. Straighten. Exhale, open. Here, triangle. So not a lot of space or distance between the feet. Actually, I'm going to take a little bit wider, just a little bit wider. This feels better for me. Okay, so we're in our triangle prep. So let's reach out over the right leg, rotate the arms, and just feel where you are here. And I'm going to show you and tell you how you can go a little deeper. Initially, the way that we're doing this, you may feel pretty aligned with the entire body. Imagine you were doing this pose up against a wall. Your whole backside would be touching the wall. But we're going to do something a little different to go a little lower and deeper. Here, push your hips back, meaning
Imagine you're up against a wall, your whole backside's against the wall. Just push your bum into the wall, okay? And then send your left hip to the left side of the room. And what will happen is you might be able to slide just a little bit deeper into the pose. I went from my right hand went from my thigh, went past my knee, right down to the shin. But I'm still in the pose. All I did was make a shift in the dynamic of the pelvis by pushing the bum back, then pushing left hip to left side, and then sliding down. To come out of the pose, we're bending the right knee for some leverage. Come back up to kind of like a warrior two position. Bring your arms down, just so they can relax. Turn to face your front foot. Lean into the front foot and step forward into mountain pose, standing nice and tall. All right, stay right where you are. I just want to show you something. I want to show you at a different angle. So here is my triangle pose. Hopefully you can see me. I have a black background. I don't know if you can really see this. Okay, so here's my first triangle. I'm going to imagine like my whole backside is leaning up against a wall. So basically I'm just going to push my bum back like that. And then my left hip back here is pushing towards my fireplace. And that allows me to go a little deeper into the pose right there. And it doesn't change the integrity of the posture. Hopefully that made sense. Okay, so we're gonna do the other side. Okay, so we're in mountain pose. Put a little slight bend in the knees, shifting weight into left foot, plant, lean forward slightly, start tiptoeing the right foot back on big toe or balls of the foot, pivot right heel to the floor, plant, find your center. We're gonna inhale both arms up as you're reaching up, straighten both legs. And we'll exhale and open to the side. Now we're in this triangle pose prep. Not a lot of distance between the feet. I need a little bit more distance to make this work for me, so just adjust as needed. Our first triangle, we're reaching out over the left thigh, rotate the arms. I can feel that my hand is right above the knee at my thigh, and my pelvis is pushing forward. My belt buckle on the belt is pushing forward. In this case, I'm facing my fireplace. That's where it's going. Now, to go deeper, I'm going to push my bum towards the camera that way, and then my right hip to the back end of my mat, changing the dynamic, the mechanics really, of the pelvis, allowing me to slide past the knee towards my shin for a different version of triangle pose. They are both correct. So it's okay if the bum pushes back and you slide down. That's a perfect way to do the pose. But you're still feeling quite open with the chest. To come out of the posture, we bend the left knee for a lunge. We come back up to a warrior two. Let's relax the shoulders by bringing arms down. Turn torso towards the front leg and foot. Lean into front foot and step into mountain pose, standing nice and tall. Let's just pause here. Little circle of the shoulders. Alrighty, that is our sequence for the day. We're going to make our way down to the ground to come to our closing sequence. Here we go. Inhale, reach all the way up, big stretch. Exhale at swan dive, so a hinge at the hips, bending your knees, slowly folding, maybe touching toes, but still okay to touch knees or shins. Inhale, slide hands up the legs to extend the spine to the flat back. Exhale, fold. Bend, bring hands to the floor so you can start walking both of your feet back. We'll pause here for a couple breaths in plank pose, a high push-up position. And then just bring knees to the floor. Sit back briefly in hero. Sit off to the side onto the floor. Swing the legs around to the front. Sit in the center of your mat. Let's do another bridge pose. Same thing as we did earlier. Lying down, knees bent, feet flat on the floor. Even take a few moments to take that quick rest. Reconnect with breathing. Reconnect to the ground. Whenever you feel ready, nice full breath in, fill up your lungs, grab your blocks. Exhaling to engage, lifting hips, sliding blocks underneath you. Sit, bridge pose. We'll hold for a couple breaths here. Slow, deep breathing.
And we're going to do cobbler's pose, a reclining version of it. And we are going to do it with our hips stacked on our blocks here. You can certainly do this without the blocks and just sitting on the floor. Or if you've got two blocks, maybe you want to remove one of them. All right, stay here, sitting on your blocks, or remove them if you'd like. And wherever you are, you're going to bring the legs close together so maybe the inner thighs or knees touch. Slowly start taking the knees out to either side of the room. Soles of the feet touch. You're going to get a deeper stretch in the inner thighs. Now I'm noticing this is a little bit too deep of a stretch. I can feel like my body wants to tense up and it feels stressed. So I'm noticing that, and I'm going to respond appropriately by coming back up onto my feet, press feet into the ground, lift hips, remove one of my blocks, and then come down and just sit on one block. And then repeat. Bring the feet together, take the knees out and open. This feels a little bit better. This doesn't feel overly stretched for me. So that's what you want to do in a lot of these cases, is you start to get into a pose, listen to how your body is responding. Is it moving towards stress? And if it is, then maybe modify in some way or use a prop in some way to help support the pose. So we can reduce and hopefully maybe even eliminate that cause and effect of moving right into that stress response. Our bodies become so used to that reaction. What we'd like to do is maybe retrain our brains and bodies so we don't have that constant stress response. 3 more breaths. If this feels good, you're certainly welcome to stay here a little longer, but you can follow me by bringing the knees back up, plant the feet, lift the hips, remove the blocks if you're still using the blocks. Set them to the side. Hug the knees into chest. You can hold that for a moment, maybe add some gentle movements here. I really like to do circles. It helps my low back and my hips. It just feels nice. You can just hold in stillness, just hug the knees in. You can even lift your chest up and towards the knees a little bit, lifting the upper back away from the ground, lifting your head off the ground, putting a slight curvature in the spine, giving yourself a nice massage through the muscles of your back. And whenever you're ready, we'll take a twist. We'll start by taking the knees, both knees, over to the left side, down towards the floor, or if they can, right down to the floor, and extend your right arm off to the side, right side. Now, if the legs don't meet the ground, that's where you might want to use your props again. Maybe a rolled up towel or a pillow or a block between the knees. That might be sufficient. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Because I can feel a little bit of a pull. That doesn't feel quite right in my right lower back area, because I know that tends to be more tight for me. And I want to release or reduce that stress response. Taking a few more deep breaths. How about 2 more here now? And of course, you're welcome to stay longer on this side. Whenever you're ready, let's return to center. Maybe another hug of the knees in towards chest. Then when you're ready, taking knees over to the right side, using your props as needed for support. Left arm reaching to the left side of the room. And if you're in a position where maybe the legs touch each other and touch the ground, but your arm is kind of floating in the air, do the same thing. Maybe a block or a pillow or a cushion underneath the arm, so it doesn't feel like it's pulling too drastically on the shoulder. This feels quite nice, actually. I just have my arm resting on a block. It just feels very comfortable. It doesn't feel like it's pulling too hard.
And let's go ahead and take 3 more breaths. When you're ready, let's slowly return to center. You might hug the knees in towards body. This leaves us a few minutes to come to Shavasana. So extending your legs out in front, arms down by your side, or any other restorative position. This is where you might want to grab your props, your blanket, your big pillow, and use them in any way you'd like to find great ease and comfort in your whole body. Because sometimes lying flat on your back is not the most comfortable position to be in. So find the position that is most comfortable. Maybe it's a bend in the knees with a rolled up towel underneath them. And once you've found your place of comfort, breathe slowly and deeply. Feel yourself relax. Maybe close your eyes and go inward. You can certainly keep your eyes opened. Soft gaze upward. You can stay here as long as you need to, even as I end the practice. And when you are ready to move, start with 5 slow, deep breaths. Feeling movement return to your body. Feeling a new energy surge into your body. And after your 5th breath, moving in slow motion, roll onto one side of your body into a nurturing pose. Again, you're welcome to stay in Shavasana. You can even stay here in this nurturing pose for a few more breaths. When you're ready, just slowly rising, coming up to a seated position. You might sit on a pillow or a blanket. Maybe crossing your legs, sitting up nice and tall. Arms relaxed down by your side. Hands resting in your lap. Find your breath. And one more movement together. We'll inhale, extend arms out and up into the air. Big reach. And then exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Hold here in stillness. Return to deep breathing. And as we come to the close of this portion of our journey together, we bow saying, Namaste.